This is SIVN Radio. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Select USA TV. This is SIVN Radio.
And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you. Not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine. The you that you are to become. The you are destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room of our subconscious, our spiritual journey, whatever it is. I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you.
Well, that was a rocky start. Man, my goodness, just all kinds of technical problems at the station today. But welcome aboard. Assuredly, I have my issues. A lot of them are tech issues as well. But we want to thank you for listening, Twitter. Thank you for our followers. It's organically growing, Twitter. Our Twitter is organically growing because we do not have a social media manager as we have had in the past. But we are welcoming anyone who wants to volunteer. You know, people pretty much are into their own thing. The sense of community is pretty much almost gone. And I want you to help revive that by talking to us. Talk back to us on Twitter, Facebook, and beyond. Spreaker, Voicecast, wherever you may see SIPN or Select USA TV iBroadcasting Network digital content. Okay, so let's make some things happen. Today we're going to continue to talk about the secrets to loving and finding love, and I trust that you will tolerate me to get right into things. I was thinking about my last session, and I was thinking about whether or not some people may have the ability to even face the truth. The truth is going to be extremely painful. It's not going to be as painful as it's not going to be as painful if you look at life already through the lens of what can I do better. If you are perceptive as second nature, you know. But for those of you that you know, have abandonment issues, control issues, it's going to be hard to look at the truth, because we said on last session that in order to find love, express love, cultivate love, all of those things, we have to be willing to tell ourselves the truth. And we don't get those moments every day. I just happen to be a product of a lot of therapy as a child, particularly. And you know, those of you that have been following me, you know a portion of my story, but most people are not, and not to pat myself on the back, it's just an observation. Most people are only introspective as to the things that they want, the immediate things that they want, the things that can come fast. But I have found that people don't like process, and they don't like pain. None of us likes pain. None of us really likes process, to be honest with you, myself included. So, but what I'm saying is, once you aggregate yourself towards the fact that process is just a part of life, you know. For instance, you know, I remember when I put my first suit in layaway. Well, why do I remember it? Because it was a big process. My father, you know, it was my graduating suit for 9th grade. My father made a big deal out of it. And of course, I was working. I had put it in layaway because the man gave me special permission, because I don't think normally they had layaway. You know, and so that whole process, and I wore that suit like for years thereafter the 9th grade, because I was the same size, didn't really get any bigger until, you know, I gave it away. But I remember that process. So process is not bad, but because we are so busy jumping around and moving about and not solving, not resolving. I always say that you could tell one's maturity by their conflict resolution skills. If they're not willing to solve things, leave them alone. I mean, you got to do more than gossip about a problem. You got to do more than complain about a problem. You got to just know the skills or acquire the skills to solve problems. So as we talk about the secrets to love and finding love, we talked about the truth meter. We talked about your ability to be able to look inside. But I was also thinking about, what if I can't be honest? And when I say that, I mean you're in a double down relationship. You're in something you shouldn't be, either by everyone else's admission or even by your own, or you want to do better but you can't, because in your mind you think you can't. And what I wanted to tell you today is that's okay, because that's the conversation of truth that you need to have with yourself and with others. And don't forget now, if you're going to make a change regarding love, you can't manage this by yourself. You got to have managers and advisors in any sense of change. Any sense of change, you've got to have managers and advisors. And part of the problem for many of us is that we have the wrong advisors and the wrong managers. And so if somebody's not getting you the change that you think you deserve, or the change that you think that you could aspire to, then you need to fire them as your advisor and fire them as your manager and step up and get somebody else. So, but I was just thinking about, some people can't tell themselves the truth in the sense of the consciousness of deciding to be truthful or introspective and not be in denial. For a lot of reasons. I call them catch-22 reasons. And this is what I want to talk about today. I hadn't planned to do this, but this was just really on my mind. But for catch-22 reasons is that you made a multiple plethora of decisions, and now you're in a catch-22, a domino effect situation. And you think you need him. You think you need her. You think you need them. And you can't see how you could make it without them. See, if I'm going to find love, first I have to be love. I mean, let's just go back now to the very basics. We're so busy doing for the sake and in the name of love that we forgot that God in and of himself is love. And therefore, if we are co-creators or created after his image, for those of you that believe in God, for those of you that believe in God, because everybody don't believe in God, and I'm acknowledging that right now. But if you've been made after his image and after his likeness, then you know that God is love. He's not doing loving things just because. He is what he is. And so as a result, by default of who he is, lovingness, lovingly, and on and on and on, all those adjectives, they evolve from the being of who he is, love. He is love. He is love. And so we are in a matrix to really accept ourselves. You see, the problem is this: we have all of these decisions. Now here's what this is my take on it. We have made all of these decisions, and many of them are unhealthy decisions. I promise you they are unhealthy decisions. They are unhealthy, from sexual decisions to financial decisions to collegiate decisions, career decisions, on and on and on, relationship decisions. The whole congruent of the matter, we've made a plethora of wrong decisions. We get ourselves in catch-22s. And catch-22s is when you got to live with somebody. And I'm talking about your parents, or when you got to move back home. Or when you can't pay your bills, or you keep getting fired, or you keep your hours never get enough hours, so you keep having to find a job, or you keep getting sick every August, or you know what I'm saying? I don't want to go too far into it, but because I'll go in on it. But you're in a catch-22, and you're going to church, and you're trying to work it out. You're trying to get the word for some of you, and some of you just say, the hell with church. I'm just going to go to the club, and so and some of y'all know how to hold it down at the club, but you still in the catch-22, which seems to permit to what's the word that I want to look for? Prevent you from being the love that you are. You see, the first thing that I think love begins to say to authenticate itself is to say no. I'm just saying, try it this week. Try it this week. If you say no where you normally would say yes, I call that OBM, opposite behavior management. If you say no, you sleeping with somebody, you ain't married, sleeping with 2 or 3 folk, you tell somebody no, if you say you're gonna change anything, and you tell somebody that's in your world, in your circle, no, they gonna go off. They gonna go the hell off. Like, what the hell are you talking about? No. Because the essence of love is boundaries. Those boundaries for both sides of the coin. They're not just for, saying no to something that shouldn't happen, but also saying yes to things that should. I had somebody on my mind today. I don't know who you are, but you're in some catch-22s. You want to be honest. You think you can't be honest. But just the fact that you're having the conversation within, and the fact that you're listening, and the fact that you're going to church, or you're engaging 1 or 2 selected individuals, because everybody said it like a Decatur, everybody can't know your business. Because see, and I'm glad that came to my heart and my mind, because that could be the reason, the pervasive reason why your catch-22 seems to always get more life, is because you talk too much your business to other people. See, love is exclusive as well. And love is so sophisticated in its being. The exclusivity of it has an air of sophistication. And as I said earlier, if you ever want to change your environment, tell some of the ones who've been taking bites out of your future by standing in your way, pleasuring you for the moment, and tell them no. And for some of y'all, excuse me, but tell them hell no. That's enough. That's enough. It's time for me to move on. And with the help of God, by me telling myself the truth, accepting, when you can tell yourself the truth, then you got to accept it. That's a whole other thing. You can tell yourself the truth all day, but then you got to accept it. You got to embrace it. This is my truth. This is a in other words, we have a lot of people who are in so many catch-22 situations. They're not even in they're not close to their destiny. They're nowhere near their destiny. They're AWOL. They're AWOL. Are you AWOL? You're so far in your catch-22 situation. See, I've been in catch-22 situations. I know what I'm talking about. You go into church and they don't know y'all. You're going over there, they don't know you're home. You see what I'm saying? You're going over there, they don't know that you had to strip. Come on now, I need some help right there. You go in the back just to drink because you can't. Come on now, we all have catch-22s that stand in the way of the authenticity of love. And then you want to step to try to have an intellectual conversation. Well, I'm not trying to be intellectual with you. What I'm trying to do is get you to at least think. But I'm not trying to be intellectual with you, because intellect alone will not solve our love problem. Steve Harvey wrote a book, Act Like a Man, Think Like a Woman. I say you should do it in reverse. Think like a woman and then act like a man. Let me just pause right there and play with that one. Because a woman is more sophisticated in her thinking, if you think about it. She can think on dual tasks. She switches from left brain to right brain, and right brain to left brain interchangeably. She can sense something without having to put the intellect in its place. And she'll say something like the old mothers used to say, well, I know something ain't right, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. So I think the book should be in reverse. Think like a woman and act like a man. Or did I say that? Act like a man and think like a woman. Right. But you know what I'm trying to do in this session is just have an honest conversation with you that there are some people that feel that they cannot tell themselves the truth. And then after you pass that conversation, there's another conversation that we need to have, that people cannot embrace the truth. For instance, I can't think of the guy's name, but the guy that went off on one of the popular shows a couple years ago, cannot think of his name. But anyway, he realized that he had an anger problem. And then, of course, if you couple anger problem or any emotional dysfunction with drugs or controlling substance, you triple the problem. Now you're creating a domino effect. You're creating a catch-22 effect. So let me just go back and define this, that catch-22s are when you combine negatives expecting a positive. But it's going to be a minute until you sort out the connectivity of all the negative decisions, or the neutral. Neutral is just as bad as negative. Neutral decisions are just, if you don't decide, that's just like deciding on the wrong team. But catch-22s are all the congruence and the ingredients of those decisions. For instance, you got an anger problem, you got an emotional issue. For many reasons, but you finally trace it and pinpoint it, that you were abandoned and rejected and things of this nature. But then you drink with it, and the drinking is connecting to the club with it, and the clubbing is connecting with your girl with it. So now when you try to change your life and you try to manage yourself out of the catch-22, actually the catch-22, in my opinion, turns into a domino effect. Then what happens is you start talking to your girlfriends. Well, see, they part of the problem. What the hell? They part of the problem. Why would you want to keep talking to them? Well, girl, come on over, and so you go over there and you start talking, and then you start drinking, and then y'all start planning to go to the club. I'm not saying for you, hey, those of you that do the club, that do you, okay? But I'm just telling you about people's catch-22s, and I'm using that as an example, as a catch-22 example, which creates a domino effect, and then all of a sudden you have a congruent of circumstances by which you are nowhere near purpose, nowhere near destiny, and you talking about you want to find a man. Hell, you got to clean up. You got to clean up first. You are so far out there. And that's what I was saying, that first begin to love yourself. And loving yourself is a full-time behind-ass job. Excuse me, but loving yourself ain't easy. Because you done made some mistakes. Because you done fouled some things up. Because you have really, in the booth in the back, not been as authentic as you have presented yourself to be. And you wondering why this member or that person or this company, why you keep going through the same thing, is because you have not faced the truth about you. And facing the truth doesn't mean you're going to all of a sudden, through some magical spiritual session, you're going to change everything. But facing the truth is a start. If you want to know how I got to where I am, which is hardly anywhere, but better than being nowhere, it's because I started telling myself the truth. And part of the reason why I started telling myself the truth is because when I would try to have an intellectual conversation based on the things that I was exposed to try to resolve the problem, everybody don't want a damn intellectual conversation. Some people just want to just leave it alone, forget about it, and go to hell on. And so what do you do? What do you do when you can't change your boss? What do you do when you can't change your boyfriend? What do you do when you can't change your mother? Your mother will be your mother after your mother stopped being your mother. Then other mothers will still be a mother. And if you're a mother, then you're going to be the same way, even though now you're not embracing the truth and accepting the truth that your mother was being a mother no matter what. How much she loves you, how much she helps you. She's going to be herself. You can't change her. That's a truth that you should embrace so you can leave it alone. Whatever it is your mother's doing that's getting on your nerves, leave it alone. And so what do? You embrace the truth. Okay, my mother will always be my mother. Whether she loves me not. Whether she helps me, she doesn't help me. Whatever the dynamic is. And then you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. See, after you embrace truth, now you have a new action that you can now carry forth. But until you embrace truth, you're going in circles. I'm looking at my floor director and trying to find out, okay, how much time? Okay. You're going in circles. You're living in circles. Then you find and listen. And so when you think you found love, you've found nothing but a first tier, second tier, third tier attraction. Somebody that you perhaps have bodily chemistry with, emotional chemistry. And listen, this is what I want to tell you. If you don't face the truth about yourself, you're going to keep attracting people who will match up to the deceptive areas of our lives that we exude from conscious living, subconscious living. I don't know why I do the things I do. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how we end up hooking up anyway. Because when it really when the crap hits the fan, these are the questions we ask ourselves regarding love, regarding relationships. Because you don't do the work. We don't want to do the work, but I'm telling you that to get you to the finish line of love, to get you to the line to where you cultivate more of the love that you have, that you have to find a way. You have to find a way to tell the truth and stop lying to yourself. I could tell you some stories, man, that would blow your mind to illustrate the point, but I won't, because y'all don't talk to me. So I realize that just by you listening only, I don't trust you with a lot of my personal information, because all you're gonna do is listen. You're not gonna engage me, so I'm not gonna give a lot of personal examples anymore, because I'm not hearing back from you on whether or not this is helping you, hurting you, it's too far out there, is right on point. I don't know what the hell to think when you don't talk back. This is supposed to be a conversation here. We try to get you to the finish line. Do you want to go to the finish line or not? We've got to get real with ourselves, and we've got to embrace. And I can tell you something else, that sometimes it seems that God can use the enemies of your life to get your behind out of the back into the front again of saying, I'm going to take control of my life. Those people that are aggravating you, those people that are frustrating you, those are your instruments of agitation are pushing you, pressing you towards change. And some of you still won't change. You still resist it. Why? Because you've embraced a lie. And it's nothing wrong. You're not a bad person. You don't damn yourself to hell. You just like the rest of us. You've told yourself what you need to tell yourself to survive. I was thinking about a movie once, and where or even a song. It says, "Tell me nothing but lies." That ought to be on one of my motivational sessions right there. Tell me nothing but lies, man. I don't want to hear nothing congruent. I don't want to hear anything about my reality. I don't want to hear anything about the decisions that I've made and the domino effect that it will take. And I don't want to hear nothing about how grace and mercy will work within the ingredients, and God and his sovereignty will help. But I don't want to hear all of that. Just tell me lies right now, because I don't feel like facing what I have helped to create. I did this. If I was there, then I take responsibility. And if I take responsibility, then I also step up to the plate and I say, listen, I have got to change. I can't change him. I can't change her. I can't change them. It's not her fault. It's not his fault. It's not their fault. It's my responsibility not to be happy. Happy is too shallow of a word for the consideration of purpose and destiny. Happy. I want to be happy. That's the whole focus of most people's lives. They want to be happy. That is, happiness can be a lie. You were not created to be happy. Just because the American or the Western Constitution gives you the right to find happiness does not mean happiness is your congruent purpose. We then got on a happiness binge. or whatever makes you happy. The hell with happiness. The truth ain't happy. But you gotta tell yourself the truth. You gotta embrace yourself. Embrace yourself. One of the things that I realized about myself is that I don't do simple things well. I just realized that a couple years ago. I'm very complex in my thinking, as you can tell. Complexity is good. Simplicity is better. You mix the two, and you have excellence. This is what I've learned. But it took me years. It took me years to figure it out. But you don't ask the questions because you're not hungry enough for the truth that you are seeking. because they that seek purity will ask of themselves what they are uncomfortable with. You know what I'm saying? I was wondering, like, what the heck is wrong with me? I can do this, and I know how to do that, and my father taught me how to think, and, all of these things. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. Bruh, you're complicated. You're sophisticated in your own mind. You got to practice the other part of your mind, the artistic side. When you go to a canvas and start painting, you don't throw the canvas out just because you messed up a stroke or two. I used to paint. I got a set of paints in my studio that I have never opened. It's been in there for 7 years, probably 8 years, 9 years. Never opened. Ezo and all. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you a bit about my truth, but I ain't gonna tell you no more than that because I ain't heard from you. You haven't sent me no email. Some of y'all know you're supposed to be in touch, but all you'll do is listen. And that's all I can do is say, okay, that's all you want to give? Fine. I'm not mad at you. But I'm trying to aggravate you towards something good. We move quicker than that when somebody trying to get us to do something we ain't got no business doing. Sorry for the ebonics this morning, this evening, this afternoon, whenever you may be listening, but it's the truth anyhow. We move faster on the things we shouldn't and slower on the things we should. I said we move faster on the things we should not do and slower on the things we should do. And then we turn around and move too fast on the things we should do but wait, and too slow on the things that we shouldn't do but did anyhow. But I just, I was really in this session. I want you to know that I know that, I know that you can't tell yourself the truth, you think, but you've already begun because you've had the thought. You've already entertained a better place, a place of peace. See, happiness without peace is no happiness at all. And there is a peace that passes the intellect. You only get that from the Lord, for really to be honest with you. There's a peace that passes intellect. Now, there's a peace within the framework of intellect, but there's a peace that passeth intellect. You're trying to build your life intellectually, you may be missing some compassionate components, but I want to celebrate you embracing the truth. I mean, you admitting, and it begins with admission. Not to the people who run their mouths, to the other people, and then it gets all around. Then you get discouraged. We're talking about inner conversations that you need to have with yourself, with the Lord, with even sometimes you have to just have that conversation with yourself, either through your journaling, through your recording, your video diaries, whatever have you, and just you got to hear yourself. You got to put some audible sounds to your thoughts. You got to stop giving all of your verbiage in empty places so that you can hear. Because that is the secret of love. Begin within the well that you have. Begin in the well. What is the well? Your heart. Your heart is a well of love. Your heart is a well of love. My time is going. Time goes quick when you're having fun, right? All right, so your heart is a well of love. It's a whole lot of love in there. It's a whole lot of love inside that heart of yours. I'm not talking about how good you can get down in bed. I'm not talking about how good you can preach. I'm not talking about how high your prophetic voice is. Oh, I ain't talking about none of that. I'm talking about your ability to get along with folk. I'm talking about your ability to move your family to the next dimension. I'm talking about the ability to move yourself to the next understanding of how to help your children. There's a whole lot of love inside of you. And it comes from God, because God is love. He's not trying to be loving. He is. Thereby he does. This Coach, until next time, take care of yourself.
You're listening to the sounds of your lifestyle improvement station.